To all of humanity, it's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's an honor as usual being out here in nature and greeting you, always bringing this message of self-realization to you. This message whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover your identity, to be your divinity. That's the reason why I always say to you that this message I bring to you is a message of emancipation. Now, what I want to speak to you today about is about Abdullah's strategy in the time of crisis. And Abdullah used a strategy to come in to prosperity, to come in to good health in a time of crisis, just as how it is right now. It was a time like now. And so what I really want to point you to is the age that we are living in, which is the information age, the digital age. And so when we look back to the time when Abdullah, the black mystic from Ethiopia, who was Neville Goddard's mentor, taught Neville Goddard the strategy to get over the depression or the crisis. We are taking that time and we are putting it here right now because we always living in the now. History always repeats itself. Everything is going about around in a circle. So it's the same cycle that comes back around right now. So here they were moving from the agricultural age into the industrial age. Because around the 1900s was where they had a increase, a population explosion. I was going to say increase of people, but a population explosion. And they had a agricultural explosion also. And so it was coming into a time of commercial farming. That's the word I was looking for. It was coming to a time of commercial farming and industrialization. So everything was on another level. And it was coming in to it, that different era, I should say. Okay? And many people got trapped, still dwelling in the agricultural age. And so the economic crisis caught them by surprise. So from 1929, when the economic depression started, many were trapped and many was under the energy of fear. Many didn't know where to turn. And so, in 1933, a young man by the name of Neville Goddard, who was born in Barbados, who was formerly a dancer, he was without work. He says that no one would even pay to see a dancer. All the Broadway shows were closed. Just like all the Broadway shows are closed right now. There was unemployment everywhere. Many people was out of a job. Just like how it is now. Panic and fear was upon the people. Just as it is right now. And a young man who have wasted his father's substance, because the father would have died and leave a certain amount of wealth for him. And he squandered it. Over $2 million within a year. So Neville couldn't even trust this man's word when he was inviting him to come to listen to a man. A man who was teaching in those times how to use your mind power to achieve your every desire. A man who was teaching that imagination creates reality in a time of depression. A man who had a strategy to survive the economic crisis. to survive the economic downturn, to survive the storm, to survive the virus, because the most deadliest virus is fear. And so Abdullah's strategy was spirituality. And instead of teaching the people to go and bow down on their knees and pray to a God outside of themselves, he was teaching them how to go into meditation and use their imagination to create their reality consciously. Here was a black man in a time of segregation, teaching our people that in such a time they needed was to wake up and see that their belief in Jesus as a literal man 2,000 years ago was idolatry. And that when they believe in such a lie, that they were not able to help themselves. But he was teaching them that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. That the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history. And presently right now in my country, the government would have launched an education revolution, teaching the people to go into further poverty by believing that academic education is the key. And here is me right now with this book, which I've written more than a year ago and has been on the internet and selling, encouraging people to meditate to eradicate poverty, teaching them that poverty is of the mind, teaching them how to use their imagination. And the people in my country, many of them, they laugh me to scorn. Many say that I'm crazy when I said that Jesus Christ as a man 2,000 years ago never exists. And when I encourage them to believe that in the God that is within themselves and to not believe in any power outside of themselves, they laugh me to scorn. But here we see history repeating itself again, because in this time of the economic downturn, it is whereby we are moving out now of the industrial age into the age of digital information, of a digital information age, and many gonna be left behind while they're still holding on to secular Christianity, and they're gonna dive deeper into poverty. Also, here again, this book, The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard mentor. Anyone that is listening to me right now and have this complexion, you need to get this book. You need to read this book. Forgot about those who would want to review it and get upset. They wanted me to write this book speaking from a biased position. But as long as you are a black man or a black woman, when it comes to the Bible and it comes to Christianity, you have to speak the truth if you want your people to be set free and to get rid of mental slavery. So my brother and my sister, I'm saying all of this to say to you that history always repeats itself. And to prove that truly Abdullah was a wisdom keeper. Here I am bringing that same message to people, saying to you, wake up in these times and come to realize you're moving into a different age. This is the age of AI, artificial intelligence. This is the digital age. This is the information age. This is the time you have to learn to use your mind power to achieve your every desire. This is the time you have to believe in your own human imagination to be the creator in everyone. This is the time you have to use your mental faculties. You have to use your perception and your will. You have to use your intuition. You have to use your imagination. You have to use memory. You have to use all these things that you were born with. And everything that was taught to you from a child, you have to come to realize that it was a lie. So I'm saying to you, I am no different from Abdullah. Same DNA, same life, same consciousness. Because this work have to go on. Because people need to wake up. So the message of self-realization, which is basically teaching our people their true identity is their divinity, was the strategy. So let me say this. In this age of science and technology, in this digital information age, spirituality is the key. Let me repeat myself again. Spirituality is the key. That is why I'm teaching you to look inwardly, to discover that your identity is your divinity and that you can create your reality consciously, because it is your thought that is creating your reality. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And let me end here by saying that the Bible is not literal, neither is the Bible secular history. For the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I hope everything I say that it makes sense to you, and that you will not just be a hearer, but you will be a doer. That you will get these books and you will read them over and over and over and put the things that you would have learned to work in your life. Just by believing that a messenger has come to you in this time to bring this message of self-realization to you. Now, if you've been listening to me, and you're listening to me for the very first time, you haven't subscribed already, I'm encouraging you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or share this message. And to remember that this message I bring to you is the singular eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says, if your eye be single, your whole body be full of light. My brother and my sisters, hadn't it been that I would have awakened within myself like a fiery being, and that singular eye has been open within me, and I have been awakened out of the dream of life, I would not have been here saying to you that when you've been told the story of the virgin birth and the way it was fed to you, having you to believe that a woman named Mary bring birth from down below, it's a lie. The real true virgin birth is a birth from the skull. This skull of yours is Golgotha, it's Calvary, it's the place of the skull. This body is the tomb where the Christ is buried. And one of these days, you're going to awake within yourself to find yourself in a tomb. And when you awake out of this tomb, you're going to tell the story to your brothers. And those who would believe, they will get the reward of a prophet, because they believe one among them was sent to them as a messenger to tell them the truth. One who have come to his Christ self, his Christ energy. That's the reason why I always give you the symbol of the single eye, and saying to you, this symbol that you see on the US dollar is not an evil symbol. It is the symbol of the God within you. It is the all-seeing eye of the God within you, which is your own human imagination that will awake within you, and you will have an awakened imagination. That's the reason why I always say to you, my brother and my sister, that when you have the experience, you come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun parallels the human imagination, the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. And the sun is the giver of all life. That's the reason why you're told in Psalms 84:11 that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. The sun have never withhold its light from you. And the sun is what powers all of humanity and what give life to all of humanity. Also in Malachi 4:2, you are told that the sun, as in the S-U-N of righteousness, shall arise in you with healing in his wings. That's why I'm bringing healing to you by way of teaching you Abdullah's strategy, which was spirituality, in a time when there was a fallen economy, where he points you to look inwardly to create your reality consciously, That's the reason why I say to you, use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your creative power, your God power, to achieve your every desire. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.